Now, President Joe Biden said on Wednesday that he had just made another phone call to Netanyahu and he reiterated unshakable U.S. support. The State Department said that the known death toll of U.S. citizens in the violence had risen to at least 22. A so far unspecified number of American hostages are also believed to be in the hands of Hamas. In a departure from the usual U.S. calls for restraint when violence erupted overseas, Biden and his administration have made clear they support Israel's right to an overwhelming response. In a speech on Tuesday, Biden showed visible emotion as he addressed Hamas attack, which included killings of children, music festival revelers, and other civilians, and has triggered a war in which the death toll has steadily risen on both sides. And now joining me on the news to talk about this is Mr. Katch Ononuju, who is a political and global affairs analyst. Good afternoon, Mr. Ononuju.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, fantastic. Now, straight to the point, how would you analyze the current, situation happening now between Israel and Palestine, this ongoing war?
Well, I believe it was specifically done by the Palestinians as a way to actually gain inclusion in the ongoing negotiations between the Saudis and the Israelis. I believe it was purely done just to gain that. They do not want to be forgotten as the Arab-Israeli negotiations sustained. First, the UAE had a polite peace agreement with the Israelis, and Americans are arranging so that the Israelis can also have a peace agreement with the Saudis. But the members of the Palestinian resistance are now believing that if they don't do this, they will be forgotten. And I think that's the reason why they have done what they have done.
Let me follow up on that statement. Do you think this is the best of measures for the Palestinians in gaining independence? Do you think so?
Well, it's very difficult for us to judge people who are desperate. The fact is, the Palestinians are desperate. They want their issue about a plea for a two-state solution to be understood by the world and not be forgotten. And that's how I understand their reason for doing what they've done. So I think policymakers in both the US and other places should understand that there's a need to not forget the Palestinian question. The arguments for a two-state solution should not be forgotten. And that's how I think that is at the root of the current crisis.
Now, the U.S. President Joe Biden has come out to visibly, openly support Israel. What's your reaction to this open support by the U.S.?
I don't expect anything different because Israel was established with the support of the United States. And if you look at the larger picture, you will understand that after the defeat of the Ottomans and after the end of the Crusades, the West will want to also have a kind of base in Arabia should the crisis come up again. As you're seeing, the crisis has continued to come up. So I see Israel, from my own calculations, as a strategic plantation by the West to make sure that they control and are in the know about what the Arabs are doing. But of course, you can tell that what Hamas did took everybody unawares. The complete intelligence failure by the Arabs, by the Israeli army, reputed to be very, very efficient. It's an eye-opener to tell you that nothing lasts forever. It does make sense that we should not talk about how to carry the Palestinians along and not forget their dreams for a two-state solution to end the Arab-Israeli crisis.
Now, Mr. Ononuju, let's look at impact here. Do you think this ongoing war between Israel and Palestine would have any sort of domino effect on other countries of the world globally?
If the countries of the world stay on their own and don't interject to interfere, it will not have any effect on them because it's still basically what we've seen since 1948. So what I will advise is that other countries of the world should support the resolution of the Arab-Israeli crisis. It will not be a good thing for anybody to go there and start fighting. No, go there and try to be an additional player in the peace process. That's what I think. I don't see anything that's wrong. I believe this will be resolved. Already, I know Qatar has moved in to try to make contact with the Palestinians, and that is who the Americans have used in Afghanistan, even in Nigeria. So I think everybody has to understand there's a need for a holistic peace agreement between the Israelis and the Arabs.
Okay. Now, Katch, in closing, what would be your recommendation or strategies you like to profile to promoting peaceful resolution?
Adhere to the original agreement of the two-state structure. Give the Palestinians their state. Allow Gaza and the West Bank to be free. You can't lock them down forever. It's just like what happened in South Africa, where there was apartheid. If they feel that they are forgotten, South Africans will do anything. Neither the Arabs think that they are forgotten in the negotiations that's going on in the region. I believe that's why they've done this, so that people will remember who they are and put them in the mix.
All right, thank you so much for your time. Katch Ononuju, Global and Political Affairs Analyst. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.